Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a mostly spoiler-free review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now I have to confess that before going in to see this film, I had seen spoilers all over thumbnails on YouTube. I'd seen all the big cameos revealed. I'd seen both credit scenes. So there wasn't much going into this film that ultimately surprised me, which I do feel like was a blessing in disguise, because I think with a lot of Marvel films at the moment, we do get carried away with kind of fan theories. I did enjoy Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a hell of a lot more than I did the first Doctor Strange. I think it is so bland, and the character journey of Doctor Strange is just so heavily derived from Iron Man that it really brings nothing new to the table. For a film that was supposed to kind of introduce this whole new side to the MCU, it just felt very, very forgettable. I'm happy to say that the sequel feels very distinct. You know, it does take risks. I do think Sam Raimi as a director really applied himself to the tone and the atmosphere of this film, and is probably the film's biggest asset. The visuals in Doctor Strange are always something that people applaud and praise, and here they're no different. I mean, at times it does feel like an absolute CGI overload, but what Marvel film doesn't these days? But at least this film kind of finds really kind of creative applications for them. I've seen a lot of reviews go really crazy for Danny Elfman's score. I think it was good. I'm definitely not going through Spotify adding certain ones to my playlist at the moment. I don't think it was that good. And I do applaud how heavily this film commits to the more horror and actual graphic gore side of the MCU. I wasn't expecting the level that we did get. Being Marvel, I was fully expecting them to pull their punches, but it didn't feel as family friendly and as watered down as I was going in expecting. And yes, of course, being the multiverse, there are cameos, you know, there are good surprises. Whether I would call them surprises is a bit of a stretch, seeing as quite a few of them have been confirmed officially in the TV spots and the trailers. But I am glad they put a kind of cap on how many cameos they brought into this film, just because at times the multiverse feels a little more than a kind of corporate device to kind of bring back lots of characters and actors and just kind of make them more marketable and merchandisable. Where Doctor Strange fails for me is unfortunately in its main characters. Doctor Strange is incredibly nerfed in this film. At literally no point did I feel that he was a real contender in any of the fights, nor do we get a kind of big clash of magic between his character and Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. I was really hoping for a spectacle of the size of Thanos versus Doctor Strange in Infinity War, you know, which was, for me, the last time Doctor Strange felt like an absolute beast. In this film, he feels like more of a conduit for other characters to get where they need to be. He feels like a bit of a guide. And in this film, it's not once but twice that Doctor Strange brings America Chavez into a situation where they're ultimately put in even more danger because of where he brings her. And to me, I don't think they're really respecting Doctor Strange's level of intellect, nor his level of kind of physical power. I do wish they used Doctor Strange a bit more for his powers, particularly in the final battle. Like, when you watch the kind of final battle, I suppose, you'll realise he has a laughably minimal impact on the final outcome. But we won't go into detail for that. And Wanda Maximoff, you know, we kind of knew she was going to be more of an antagonist in this film. I have to say I was surprised at how much of a one-note villain they made her. If you have seen WandaVision and you kind of understand where her character is going into this film, what they've basically done is forgotten about the character growth she had in that series, introduced her in this film as basically where she was at the start of WandaVision, and then by the end of this film, we're back at where she was at the end of WandaVision. We've basically had the same character arc deconstructed and reconstructed again here. And what sort of frustrated me in this film was how her more antagonistic side was the result of a MacGuffin, like a device, a kind of mystical book, essentially. So it's not even kind of complex character building that puts her on opposite sides. It's ultimately just her mind being corrupted and her legitimately going crazy. So as a big fan of Wanda's development throughout the MCU so far, I personally don't think they honoured her as a character. Obviously, the big kind of thematic subtext of the multiverse is seeing alternate versions of these characters where they might be happier, they might have had more loss, and the idea of, you know, whether you're happy or not literally comes to the forefront, because that line, "Are you happy?" is tossed around like more than anything else in this film. And it's a really interesting question to pose to these characters in the midst of this massive, you know, cosmic scale plot, but it is just laughably underwritten. Like, you can see where they're trying to go with it, they just don't quite bring it to life enough. I've seen a lot of the early reviews sort of say it was narratively incoherent, a bit of a mess, a bit chaotic, which I personally disagree with. I think they kept the narrative going with a very strong through line. My biggest problems were the kind of character development choices they made for Doctor Strange and Wanda. But the actual narrative itself, I thought they handled really well. But for me, it's still probably only a 3-star, 7 out of 10 film. So not massively overwhelmed with this film, but still a solid entry, way better than the first one, and a decent, if not mind-blowing, addition to Phase 4. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, help boost my channel. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the film, and we'll see you next time.